Chào tất cả mọi người đã quay lại với TJ Family cuộc sống Úc. Tiếp tục hành trình TJ Family khám phá thành phố Darwin mọi người. Thì hôm nay nhà mình book một cái tour đi ra ngoài cái sông có tên là Adelaide River để coi người ta cho cá sấu ăn đó mọi người. Thì bây giờ buổi sáng ở nhà mình ăn sáng rồi các thứ ở khách sạn rồi, bây giờ đang còn lái xe ở trên đường freeway ở thành phố Darwin nha mọi người. Ở đây đường xá thành phố rất là rộng rãi, cũng ít xe cộ lắm, lái xe bon bon à. Bây giờ mình Trang chào mọi người đi, mấy đứa chào hello.
Hello mọi người, Jaden Sinh Nhi chào cô chú nè. Ui dồi, Jaden còn ngái ngủ à. Bây giờ mời mọi người cùng đi với TJ Family nha mọi người.
Yeah. Ở thành phố Darwin thì những cái hoạt động cho gia đình thì nó cũng lòng vòng ở đây thôi mọi người. Cái bữa hôm nay nhà mình book cái tour này thì lái xe khoảng 1 tiếng.
Nhà mình chạy qua farm người ta trồng xoài nữa các bạn nè. Lớn không à? Rộng không? Không biết có phải cây xoài không?
Phải.
Các bạn nhìn này, đó, farm xoài đấy.
Farm xoài ở Darwin đó mọi người. Đây bắt đầu nhà mình đã tới ở cái khu vực Adelaide River rồi đó mọi người. Cái chỗ người ta sẽ dẫn tour cho mình đi coi cá sấu, người ta cho cá sấu ăn đây. Bây giờ từ ở ngoài đường chính chạy vào cái chỗ này cũng mất khoảng 2 cây số nữa mọi người. Ở đây cái khung cảnh xung quanh nhìn như ở Việt Nam, ở dưới quê, như là những cái cánh đồng nhưng mà trồng lúa mọi người, nhưng không phải. Ở đây toàn cỏ, xung quanh đây toàn cỏ và xung quanh đây là đầm lầy thôi à, nên ở đây có cá sấu nhiều sợ lắm. Cái video trước là nhà mình đi tham quan cái công viên cá sấu, đó là cá sấu người ta nuôi ở trong công viên nha mọi người, để cho du khách tham quan. Còn hôm nay nhà mình đi ở đây là đi trên sông á mọi người, rồi người ta sẽ cho cá sấu ăn ở trên sông luôn. Đây là cá sấu giống như là không có nuôi nha, cá sấu ở đây là cá sấu tự nhiên, cá sấu hoang dã nha mọi người. Những cái chỗ này thì mọi người có thể lên mạng và booking trước nha mọi người. Như chỗ nhà mình đi hôm nay có tên là Jumping Crocodile Cruise. Thì ở đây người ta một ngày người ta có 4 chuyến để chở du khách đi ra sông để coi người ta cho cá sấu ăn, là 9 giờ, 11 giờ, 2 giờ và 4 giờ. Nó bây giờ nhà mình tới đây rồi đây. Ra ngoài này thì hơi bị nhiều ruồi, mà nhiều ruồi lắm. Ở trong thành phố thì không thấy ruồi, nhưng mà ra đây xung quanh thấy nhiều cây và thấy nhiều đầm lầy, có nhiều ruồi. Nếu mà mọi người đi du lịch ở thành phố Darwin thì mọi người đi từ tháng 4 cho tới tháng 10 ấy mọi người. Đó là cái mùa khô thì nó ít mưa nên nó cũng ít côn trùng hơn. Tại vì ở tháng này là nhà mình đi là tháng này là tháng mùa mưa nè, nên thời tiết nó ẩm nên nó nhiều côn trùng. ra đây thì người ta có đầy đủ nhà vệ sinh cho mình đi thoải mái nha mọi người. Người ta ở trên lầu này người ta có một cái shop nhỏ nhỏ, người ta bán nước uống với bán những cái đồ snack nữa. Bây giờ tới giờ rồi, bắt đầu người ta cho mình đi lên trên cái cruise rồi nè mọi người. Đó, ở dưới sông mà nước sông nó đục lắm, màu nó đỏ đỏ này, cá sấu nó ở dưới mình cũng không biết đâu. Dòng sông này có tên là Andalay River nha mọi người. Mặc dù là đây đang ở thành phố Darwin. Nếu mà mọi người đi du lịch ở cái tháng này thì tháng 12 là nhà mình đi là tháng 12 á, thì mọi người nhớ cầm theo nhiều nước nha, nước đá. Ra mấy chỗ này nó nóng lắm, nó ẩm nữa, ai cũng toát mồ hôi, có nước đá uống đã. Ở đây có nhiều ruồi nữa. Mấy đứa nhỏ nhà mình nó khó chịu. Ruồi ở Úc này nó rất là dai nha mọi người, nó cứ bay vô mặt của mình thôi à, nó không sợ đâu. Mình đuổi nó đi rồi nó không bay tới à.
Mũi này gần quá, crocodile nó nhảy lên.
Can I get you guys in the back of the way down last half a seat? Thank you. Our next rule is don't stick anything outside the railings. That does include things like feet, phones, partners. Unless you paid that $50 deposit, we're not allowed to throw anyone in the river for you. All right. Keep everything inside those railings. Anything that goes outside the railings will be seen as food by our scaly friends. We do have life jackets on board, guys. Those are located in the center aisle here, behind my feet and in these cabinets. In the event that we do start to sink, everyone will be needing to put one of those on. You put your head through the hole, clasp the buckle, and tie the strap. The bit that I don't have to tell you, but you guys have probably figured out anyway, you look like a pretty smart bunch. Life jackets are kind of useless out here. They're basically just an over-glorified orange chew toy for our scaly friends, alright? So, I mean, you guys are going to all be required to put one of those on. The nice bright orange will give me and Kane a good opportunity to run to the bank in our nice bright orange shirts, give everyone a fair footing, alright? We do also have a 200-metre non-interaction radius with our animals, so we can't start jumping these crocs until we get beyond those white markers just up there. Once we get past them, we can start working with any crocodiles we can see. So I'm going to start making our way down the river. We do have Marilyn on the left. I'm going to show you guys on the left, and then I'll spin around and show you guys on the right. On the right, and I'm going to tell you guys right off the bat, we're not going to work with Marilyn. She is a little bit too close to our markers, but we have also already fed her once today. We are going to leave her behind.
Did you want to show these guys, mate?
Yeah. Alrighty, you guys, on the right here is Marilyn. Now, Marilyn is a saltwater crocodile, or Crocodylus porosus. We are only seeing saltwater crocodiles out here on the river today. We did see one freshwater crocodile around about 3 weeks ago, but that's our first sighting in around about 2 years, alright? Down here, it is salty territory. Simple reason for that is the saltwater crocodiles are a lot bigger and stronger than the freshwater crocodiles are. So if we do get any freshies in this part of the river, the saltwater crocodiles do very, very quickly kill and eat them, unfortunately. So we are just looking at the largest crocodilian, the most aggressive and territorial, and also the most widely distributed. So you can find these guys as far south as parts of Exmouth in WA, and you can find them as north as eastern parts of India. So a better name for these guys, in my opinion, would be the Indo-Pacific crocodile, because they are found throughout the entire Indo-Pacific region. Saltwater crocodile, I mean, it's a pretty iconic name, having salty, but it is a pretty ineffective name, all things considered. It doesn't really tell you a whole lot about the crocodile. The only thing it does tell you is that they can live in salt water, but 70% of saltwater crocodiles will never even see salt water. And the way they do survive in that salt is they have something that's called a lingual salt gland. It's basically just a saliva gland that spits out very, very salty spit. And that's how they're able to get rid of all that salt they don't want to have when they're drinking salt water. But when they figured out what allows them to live in salt water permanently, they found out that all true crocodiles have those glands. So freshwater crocodiles can actually live in the salt water. Same with things like American crocodiles. Any true crocodile can live in the salt. But the saltwater crocodiles are the most advanced in that regard. They can survive permanently out in the salt, and no other crocodile can. But that doesn't mean no other crocodile is able to live out there for a short period of time. So a saltwater crocodile isn't the best name, considering they spend most of their time in fresh. And in fact, freshwater crocodiles can spend time in the salt. It really messes things up. But we are going to head down the river, guys, see if we can find one crocodile that we can actually jump. So sit back, relax, enjoy the river, and I'll bring the crocodile to you.
Chuẩn bị cho cá sấu ăn nè, còn mình coi cá sấu nó nhảy lên nha mọi người. Bác này bác đang chuẩn bị đồ ăn nè. Đó. Đó. Đây, sông. Wow. Wow, wow, he over there. He coming.
That's our white-bellied sea eagle.
You reckon you want to change the plan and feed the sea eagle?
We've named him Mordecai. We may as well feed the sea eagle, I guess. He's going to be a pain the whole time. So we're going to feed him on the right-hand side. So you guys in the back row on the left can stand up. You guys in the front row on the left are allowed to walk around. This is the only exception to the rules. You guys in the front row can walk around and stand up inside this walkway. So if you want to go and do that now, you're more than welcome to.
So now I'll let you guys get in position. Guys at the front over that side, come around so you can see what's going on, because you need to be able to see the meat on the pole.
We do also have two crocodiles, guys.
Just
We've got
off where you can
Stumpy
see,
over there.
guys.
We've got Nip,
Feel
and
free
then
to
we've
move around the
also
boat.
got white-bellied. So the white-bellied sea eagle is the second largest bird of prey we do have out here in Australia. They
Mọi
are
người
second
thấy
to
không?
the wedge-tailed
Người
eagle.
ta thấy
They
bỏ
have a
mồi lên
wingspan
nó
of
đã
up to
tới bắt đầu
2.2
bỏ tới rồi nè.
meters long.
All good?
Rồi xong rồi thấy
Is
không?
anyone not ready? No, everyone's
Châm
ready?
mà, châm.
Alright.
Lúc. Wow, wow,
They
wow.
are our largest bird of prey we do have here in Australia. And they're actually our largest bird of prey.
Oh, the bird get it. The bird get it.
Around our waterways specifically.
Con chim
You
nó.
will often see these guys do what's been nicknamed.
Chim nó. Vào gần rồi nè.
Hold on, give me 2 seconds, Chen. Just put the boat between these guys. They have been seen doing behavior that's called trailing, which is where you'll see these big birds of prey go down to the water's surface and graze that
Mọi
water.
người thấy cá sấu dưới sông không?
Water, trying to skewer a fish and bring those other top talents around or grab them. Because these guys do
Đó,
come
chuẩn bị,
in
người ta
fish.
chuẩn bị cho ăn.
We'll often see them with things like small birds. They are obviously a bird of prey, but they do also enjoy a good fish feed every now and again. So you guys on the left-hand side, I get you to take the seat again, and we'll start working with the crocodiles. I will get the other crocodiles around to your side after we have worked with them on the other side, alright? I mean, technically everyone is missing out, but we're all going to miss out equally, okay?
And you guys on this side, at the back row, you can stand up. You get a better view over the heads of people in front. So feel free to stand up in the back row, just on this side.
Lúc, lúc.
And we've got Miss.
Châm.
I'm trying to encourage you to do is what we call vertical swimming.
Can you guys on the left grab a seat, please?
And it's something they
You
do
got
use in
Stumpy
the
right
wild
there.
to grab stuff off the branches that overhang the river.
So Stumpy's our second largest crocodile we do work with. He's also a original. He has been with the company since we first started back in the 90s. He's quite an old croc on top of all of that. He is around about 70 years old. The way we get that statistic is he's been with the company for 30 years. Even when he first started, he was around about 4.5 meters long. You should be very surprised to see a crocodile as big as he was, even back then, at any younger of an age than 40, especially considering he hasn't grown to an extremely ridiculous size. 40 is a pretty good estimate. So 40 plus 30 gives us 70. And he does act like a 70-year-old crocodile. I mean, if you get on this lawn, Jesus, I hope you can get off it reasonably quickly. He's a very, very angry crocodile. Some people get very, very kind in old age. Stumpy's definitely on the other end of that, getting very, very angry in old age.
We get one more.
He's the most aggressive crocodile we do work with, and he does often get into fights with his girlfriends and his neighbours. Not too long ago, he actually put a good-sized hole in one of his neighbours' noses. Now, that neighbour did get him back. If you see his head raised up, you will see a bunch of puncture marks where his neighbour's teeth have been lodged. But he definitely did still come out on top in that fight.
Right, all good.
Righty, so I'm going to spin the boat around.
Nó bơi đi rồi cho nên này. Nên em thấy crocodile nó trong đó. Đây này. Cò chân là chân mình.
Crocodile hungry.
Wow, cái con này to à. Này màu đen đó.
She is.
Này to.
Showing your side now. Oh, really? Oh, Cass, is he on the other side? You're such a pain, Cass.
Coming.
You see he's got that white coloration on the tip of his snout. That's really common with the big males. It's just like scar tissue built up over the years. But you always see that sort of white colour on the very tip of their snout. And they tend to darken up. Their general body colour tends to darken up as they age as well, big males. So So yeah, guys in the back row, you can stand up if you want to get that look.
Now, you guys on the left may have seen, and you guys on the right are currently seeing, that Cass is just very, very large. But on top of that, he's quite dark compared to the smaller saltwater crocodiles we have seen. Same with Stumpy, he was quite dark. Now, that coloration is more or less to do with them wanting to warm themselves up to ensure sun protection in the tropical environment. So, because they are a cold-blooded or endo and ectothermic animal, they do need that heat energy to do things like breathing and digesting food. So having that very, very dark coloration allows them to heat up very, very quickly, or at least quicker than it would be, say, if they were that yellow that you see some of the smaller crocodiles being. And they've got a few other tips and tricks that help them be able to warm up. One of those is those lumps you're seeing on their back and stop right at the tip of their tail. They're called osteoderms, and what they are is they're a semi-porous bone structure surrounded by blood vessels. They act quite a lot like a saltwater crocodile's solar panel. So because it's a piece of bone pretty well cling wrapped in skin, it does heat up quite quickly, the skin, and even the bone itself will get to a pretty decent temperature, can reach around about 35 degrees. And if crocodiles want a sudden burst of heat into their body, they'll pump blood through those osteoderms and it'll warm itself up going past that bony plate. Then that'll allow them to warm their body temperature up, especially in the colder months. So this time of year, the water itself is around about 32 degrees Celsius, which is absolutely perfect for these saltwater crocodiles. So this is why you're not seeing many on the bank today, because they only want to be in the water, because they don't need to be anywhere else. But when it does get to the dry season months, they will use those osteoderms and they'll sit up on the bank trying to warm themselves up as much as possible. If they do get too cold, it does affect them quite a lot. If they get too cold, it'll make it so they're not even body processes just stop and they stop being able to digest their food. Now that has a big problem because it creates a very, very messed up pH level to the point where their stomach acid stops dissolving any food at all, which means that the meat inside their stomach begins to rot. Now, saltwater crocodiles do have a bit of a reputation for being big, stinky lizards that like eating rotten meat. If they don't, we'll often see saltwater crocodiles going to really, really old carcasses, taking a bite and then spitting them out. And it's not because they're too full, it's because they just simply don't like the taste, or it might even be more in relation to the bacteria that's currently on that piece of meat. But the big reason why they have got that reputation is meat being spoiled for us is a week before meat spoiled for them. So because they have stronger stomach acids, they can handle more dense buildups of bacteria. Whereas for us, we can't handle the same level they can. But that doesn't mean they're immune, and they're definitely not going to eat meat that's absolutely revolting. And so when that meat does start to rot inside of their stomach, it does cause internal poisoning for them, and they can get things like food poisoning, which is a lot more dangerous for a saltwater crocodile when you do have, say, 20, 30 kilos of rotting meat in your stomach. It does often end to saltwater crocodiles passing away, which is the reason why we don't have them all throughout Australia and why they do only reach as far south as Exmouth, because they do need that year-round continuous temperatures to stop that from happening. Even up here, we do have cold bursts. We have about 1 week of winter up here. And that does give these crocodiles a bit of trouble, even that 1 week of winter, where we're getting to around about 14 degrees at night, at its absolute coldest that being, but they do still need to be in the water in the warmest parts, trying to keep themselves at a survivable temperature. They're not like the alligators and stuff we see over in Texas, where they're able to put their noses just above the water and then quite literally freezing themselves, going into a state of hibernation. Now, saltwater crocodiles can do this hibernation state. It's hibernation for reptilians. But that does still have quite a large effect on them, even when they are in that state. And because they do get a lot larger and they're more of a tropical animal compared to alligators, they do need that year-round heat, which is why you only really find them in the tropics. Do you have any questions, guys? No. All good.
How many are there?
In the river, so in the Adelaide River, we have 1,200 non-hatchling saltwater crocodiles. So that's any crocodile above the size of 600 millimeters, or about 2 feet. And in the territory, we have around 140,000 wild saltwater crocodiles. And in Queensland and WA, you have around 30,000 in the wild, respectively. So we have 200,000 wild saltwater crocodiles in Australia, and have around about another 200 captive saltwater crocodiles. So we do have crocodile farms, we do have quite a large number of crocodiles. They're not reaching true adult crocodile size in those farms. They're reaching around about 2 meters before they are killed. They are harvested mostly for their skin. Their skin does cost around about $50 per square centimeter for the raw leather. That's before it gets turned into those nice little pretty Louis V handbags, or those Hermes handbags, which obviously the brand name does contribute quite a lot to that price, but it is still the most expensive leather on the planet. And that's the main reason that these guys weren't hunted to the point of extinction here in Australia. So they were getting very, very close to it. We only had 3,000 saltwater crocodiles in the Northern Territory, and 1,000 respectively in Queensland and WA back in the 70s before protection came in. But when protection did come in, crocodile hunting was immediately stopped, and they started the farming practices almost immediately. Because funnily enough, when you can create a higher quality product out of these guys, it does pretty well eliminate the need to go out and hunt them. Same with the risks of poaching. There is almost zero risk for poachers coming out and trying to shoot saltwater crocodiles. The only examples you can think of are people hunting them for their skulls, predominantly the large saltwater crocodiles. Because obviously they kill them very, very small at the farms, so there's not a huge supply of large saltwater crocodile skulls. You can see saltwater crocodile skulls that are similar size at $120,000. Now, the most expensive crocodile product I've ever heard going on sale wasn't even a fashion handbag, a gold-plated crocodile's skin leather jacket. It was actually a leucistic saltwater crocodile with the skin and skeleton. So leucism in saltwater crocodiles is albinism, but it's a severe lack of melanin as opposed to being an inability to produce it. So they don't get the pink eyes, but they do go almost flush white depending on how leucistic they are. But it was a completely white saltwater crocodile that's the Asiatic water buffalo if they do want to. Which is quite impressive when you take into the account that the swamp subspecies of the Asiatic water buffalo can grow up to like 1.2 ton, and they can hold their breath for around about 5 to 6 minutes underwater. I mean, a saltwater crocodile can hold their breath for 8 hours in a controlled dive, so not in the same ball game. For a mammal, it's quite a long term to be able to hold your breath, especially one as large and closely adapted to living on land as a Asiatic water buffalo.
Yeah, he's the oldest croc we work with. He looks it too, doesn't he? He is an old croc. We reckon he's about 70.
So Stumpy does only have one good leg left. He has lost 3 of his legs. The only good one he has left is that back right leg, or his back left leg.
What was I lost it from?
Fighting with other crocodiles. Especially those 2 front legs, you often see front legs missing. When some of the crocodiles do fight, like most predators, they do try to grab around the neck, try to crush off their opponent's airflow. And what's right next to the neck if you miss, front legs. So those got ripped off. We're not quite sure how he lost that back right leg. There is a chance it was from a fight. It could have been from when he was smaller, even something like a bull shark. We do get bull sharks in this river that grow to around 2 to 2.5 meters long. So it could have been one of them. It could be a number of things. But back when the company first started 30 years ago, he was only missing that one back leg, but he liked the name Stumpy so much he took it upon himself to lose those front 2. I mean, that's what we call commitment at least. Yeah, so they're not jumping off the bottom of the water, they're just putting that whole body in the lake and then swimming up and out of the water. They do have a very, very dense tail. I mean, the amount of muscle mass that they have in that tail is pretty well a third of their weight, and it's half there. They do mostly use that for swimming. Other crocodilians, though, do use it as a way to defend themselves. You'll often see things like alligators using their tails.
Con này 70 tuổi hả?
Stun fish. Now, it hasn't been observed that that happens with saltwater crocodiles, but you do see crop captures getting things like throat
Take her on the other side. If we get some good
bumps and
jumps out, we'll bring
shoulders
it back
when
to you
these
guys.
saltwater crocodiles
Sometimes that
swim
works
their
for us,
tails.
just getting on the other side.
Even smaller saltwater crocodiles and people in zoos and stuff are moving smaller saltwater crocodiles. If they do. So saltwater crocodiles are one of the only 4 species on the planet that have ever actually been seen actively hunting and seeking out humans to eat. The other ones. Jesus, there's some fishers out today.
We just try going slowly backwards, and as we
Rồi đó là những hình ảnh về cá sấu ở trên sông Andalay River ở thành phố Darwin nha mọi người. Thì nếu mà mọi người đi tới Darwin thì đây là cũng là một trong những cái tour mà mọi người nên book và trải nghiệm nha mọi người. Thì đi tour này cái anh lái tàu cũng là anh hướng dẫn viên luôn, anh sẽ giải thích về lịch sử và nguồn gốc của những con cá sấu này nó như thế nào. Có nhiều con ở đây là 70-80 tuổi rồi mọi người, nặng dài khoảng 5 mét mấy, nặng toàn 700-800 kg không á. Mỗi con cá sấu người ta đều đặt cho nó một cái tên khác nhau á. Người ta làm việc ở đây thì người ta đã biết là nó đã ở những cái khúc sông nào là nó sẽ ở đó rồi, thì người ta sẽ chở mình ra đây và người ta sẽ cho nó ăn như là mọi người đã vừa xem video mà nhà mình đã chia sẻ đó. Thì bây giờ là cái thuyền sẽ quay trở lại ở cái bến nha mọi người. Và cảm ơn mọi người đã theo dõi TJ Family nha. Bây giờ thì nhà mình lại lái xe quay trở lại thành phố Darwin. Đó là đường đất đỏ ở thành phố Darwin nha mọi người. Rất là nổi bật khi mà đi tới những cái vùng outback ở thành phố Darwin này. Hai bên là toàn là cỏ thôi, cỏ và đầm lầy. Ok mọi người, cảm ơn mọi người đã theo dõi TJ Family và hẹn gặp lại mọi người ở những video tiếp theo nha. Bye bye.